What if I told you that the life you're currently living is just a first draft? It's messy, it's got typos, and it probably isn't going the way that you'd like. But here's the secret. You have the power to scrap the whole script and start a new one. This video is your editorial board meeting. If this is your first time, this is the Prismatic Nomad. Thank you for joining, and I truly appreciate you for allowing us to share this space with you. If you're coming back for a second time, third time, fourth time, I truly appreciate you for allowing me and this energy to really come in and share the message that we have to share. This episode is going to be one that really kind of resonates with me on a personal level as someone who, from time to time, has really been a bystander in my own life. And it wasn't until I finally decided that enough was enough and that I could be the author of my own book that I really started to take the necessary steps for me to change the path that I was on. I actually picked up this journal a while back, and I haven't started it yet, but I happened to see it today as I was cleaning my room, and it really sparked this whole idea of being the author of your own life. And it's called A Life of Mine, or This Life of Mine. It's a legacy journal, and basically what it is it's a way for you to write down bits and pieces of who you are, what your favorite things are, what makes you you, and it asks you about different aspects of your life, and it kind of becomes like a living journal of you as a person up until this point. And I thought that it was really, really interesting. And if you're interested, I can definitely leave a link in the description box for you. I think it's a fantastic idea, especially for anyone who is really looking to dive a little deeper into the inner workings of the person that they are and really kind of get more out of that conversation with themselves. So this conversation is really going to be about what are things that you can do to really help yourself to step away from the NPC role and really become the main character of your story. A lot of times we can really get stuck in our day-to-day lives. We can just kind of end up in this stagnant energy where we're just allowing life to happen instead of being a participant in life. And you can get very comfortable in that place. I think the best word for me to use is complacent. And there's nothing wrong with that for a while. We all have different seasons. And if you are the type of person that really just enjoys sitting in that comfort and you don't want more out of life, that's totally fine. This conversation is probably not for you. But if you are feeling like you've reached a point where you're ready to make some changes in your life and you're ready to experience what the full capacity of you as a person could potentially be, then I really think that some of the insights that I'm about to share could be very helpful for you. As many of you may know, I currently am a part of a health and fitness program. My coach is amazing. His name is Coach Al. Please check him out if you're interested. He is an amazing guy, super down to earth, but will also definitely be your accountability partner. I've lost about 70 pounds over the last year and a half, and that has been a huge part of me taking a hold of the reins in my own journey and really stepping into this next phase of my life. I had a really deep conversation with him and one of our fellow members yesterday, and we were just talking about how we felt throughout the journey, how we are feeling at this point, and kind of to piggyback on a conversation that I had last week about gratitude. But that word really came up quite a bit yesterday in that conversation. And I think that, you know, a really good starting place for anyone who's looking to step outside of that circle and really do something different is to take a step back and really look at where you are in life in this moment. What is it exactly about it that's making you feel stuck? What is it that is making you feel that this is not enough? Is there a part of you that feels like you're meant for more? And what does that look like for you? I feel like having those deeper conversations with yourself really allow for you to get in touch with the parts of you that are really needing to be expressed. You know, we live in a society that unfortunately really caters more to stuffing your feelings down and not being vulnerable with other people. And I feel that that can be detrimental to your mental health and your physical health if you get stuck in that hamster wheel of just staying at that flat line and not making ripples and catering to other people. Again, if you're in a place in your life and you're totally comfortable with that and you do not want to make changes, this conversation is probably not for you. But if you are looking to get in shape or start working for yourself, or if you want to write a book, if you want to learn a new craft, if you want to change your hair, whatever it is, there are so many different things that you can do to better yourself, give yourself an opportunity to grow, learn, and really fall in love with yourself again. I think one of the most interesting things about the concept of writing your own story is like, if you, excuse me, if you are really into books and you're a deep reader, there's always a story that just resonates with you very deeply. And I feel like a lot of times that's because you kind of fall in love with the character. And a lot of times that character is not exactly the best in the beginning, but as you continue to read, you get to see them grow and evolve. And in the video game space, this is really, really something that I definitely enjoy as far as like role-playing games go, because you get to see this huge character arc of this person that you started playing the game with, and they were just kind of so-so. You really liked their design, and so you kind of resonated with them. But then as you continue playing, you get to know more about who they are, why they are that way. And sometimes you get to experience games or stories or movies where you fall in love with this character, but they really make some stupid fucking decisions. And you can sit there. The best is when you're at a movie theater and you're watching a movie and a character just does something and you just want to scream out like, "Are you stupid?" But it's in those moments where if you could see yourself in the screen, would you still say that? There's always that slight disconnect when we're looking at a character in a book, because we know that story is going to end. We know that there is an ending to that story. There is more of that story to progress. Whereas in real life, the story is written every day. And you can really just kind of, again, let life happen to you. Or you can assist and help life happen for you. And I think that is such an exciting prospect. You know, some of the things that have really, really helped me along with my journey thus far. I talked a little bit about journaling. Being active has been a life changer for me. You know, I think as far as character development goes, there is something very special about being able to, in the course of a year, become a completely different person physically. And there is a huge mental component to that from start to finish. Like I said, I've lost about 70 pounds in the last year and a half, and it has been an interesting ride. It hasn't been a one-stop shop, and I can definitely say that I have gotten in my own way quite a few times throughout that journey. But the one key takeaway from it is that I never quit. There were times when I allowed for circumstances to get in the way, or for me to allow for life to stand in the way of me focusing on my journey. And that's okay. I allow myself grace in those moments to do whatever I feel that I need to do, but I never quit. I get right back into that saddle and I keep on going. And I think that that is a really, really important lesson when it comes to the self-development journey and things of that nature. Another really big part of this was being incredibly intentional with what I put in my body. You know, I've loved cooking for a very long time, and I didn't necessarily want to make a cooking channel just because it's something that brings me joy, but I didn't necessarily want it to become a commodity. It's something that I kind of do for myself. I would love to be able to share that with you at some point, but right now I'm really enjoying this journey that we're going on together on a more spiritual, mental kind of a way. So we can definitely explore that later on. Speaking of books, what's your favorite book? What is your favorite story? Is there a character that resonates with you in a way that you can really see their journey? Is there a character that you've fallen in love with because of the change that they've gone throughout their character arc? Put it down in the comments below if there is one. I would definitely love to see who your favorite characters are. I think for me, again, I'm a giant nerd and I'm a kid of the 80s. So The Dark Crystal is a huge movie for me, definite guilty pleasure. And I always loved the Mystics. They were probably, God, even since I was like 4 or 5 years old, like they were just these cool creatures. But as far as characters, Jen and Mother Ogra were like my favorite characters. Ogra was kind of just like this kooky, like astrologer lady. And again, I love astrology, so that's probably part of that. But Jen's character arc was very interesting because, you know, he started off as an orphan kid, and then along the way, he really grew into this self-sufficient adventurer who found a lot more deeper meaning in life throughout his journey. There are so many others, but that one just really kind of popped into my head super deep right now. So, yeah, love The Dark Crystal. Anyway, outside of that, now I'm totally rambling. Sorry. Let me get back to my point here. I feel like, you know, if you can find things in your life that give you joy, that get you outside of your comfort zone, that you can pour yourself into, I think that is a really good way for you to start that journey. If you are looking to create your own business or do something different, if you've never traveled before, I highly, highly recommend that. I think traveling is such a perspective changer. I think there's so many people who stay living where they grew up their entire lives and never leave. And if that's your thing, that's totally cool, but you're missing out on the beauty of this amazing planet that we live on. And I think, you know, as a military brat, I moved around a lot as a child, so I have a really different perspective on, I guess, life and culture and things like that than a lot of other people do, because I've been afforded the luxury to, I call it that now, because looking back, I appreciate it. In the moment, I hated it. But looking back now, I got a chance to meet all different kinds of people from all over the country, and really just get a better understanding about different mindsets and different local traditions and things like that. And I think that really allowed me to grow a lot as a human being. And I definitely recommend traveling as an adult, so that you can really experience different cultures in a different kind of way. But yeah, I think if you can find a story that you resonate with, what is it about that story that draws you in? And if you can find correlations between your favorite character and yourself, you may be able to find ways for you to make some very subtle changes in your life that allow for you to push yourself outside of your comfort zone and go in a deeper direction. So yeah, I feel like at this point, I'm going to go ahead and stop rambling. I absolutely thank you for joining me today. If you feel called to like, share, and subscribe, I would absolutely love for you to do that. But more importantly, I would love for you to leave a comment down below. I would love to be able to start a conversation with you and really kind of get to know a little bit more about the people that watch these videos as I share some of my personal experiences with you. Thank you so much for joining the Prismatic Nomad. It has been my honor to be with you today, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Before I go, be bold, be beautiful, be yourself, and don't forget, it's never too late to start over. Thank you so much, and have a good one. Bye-bye.